Hey, my big fact hunters. And when I say hey, I mean hey with a J, because today we're going to Denmark. We live in New Zealand, but I want to know about Old Zealand. Tell me everything you can in 30 minutes or less.
Oh my gosh!
Wait, hang on. About Old Zealand or Denmark?
No, Zealand.
But Old Zealand, which is,
Zealand's
sorry,
in the
not Denmark.
Netherlands. Yeah.
What?
It's the Netherlands.
Netherlands.
It's in
Yeah.
Denmark.
It's in the Netherlands.
Well, I've been looking at Denmark. It is very
Wikipedia said
clearly
it was in
the
Denmark.
Netherlands.
Wikipedia.
No, we got named by a Dutch
Yeah,
guy.
there is a Zealand in Denmark
Zealand
as well.
is the largest and most populous island in Denmark.
Let's
but
do
it's
that
not
one.
What,
Yeah.
It's not what New Zealand is named after, though. New
You're
Zealand is
ruining
named
your
after
first
the...
fact.
No, I know, but I don't. Dutch isn't as funny as Danish. Right, my Danish darlings. I'm very excited to hear what you found out about Old Zealand, either in Denmark or in the Netherlands. So I would like to start with Thomas Adams.
Well, I decided to go with the jokes. I decided to go with neither. I'm going with Sealand. The Principality of Sealand.
Yep.
So, yes. So, just going to take a really quick turn because I'm pretty sure in my last round, none of you did facts about the thing that I was after. So this is about the Principality of Sealand, a micronation that exists off the coast, about 6.5 nautical miles off the coast of Suffolk.
Is
It's
this
an
the
abandoned
old
sea
mining
fort.
rig?
And it's a sea fort.
Yeah.
Okay.
That called Ruff's Tower. That was
Yeah, it's the
claimed.
one you're thinking of,
It
Jen.
was actually.
Yeah. You can get
It was
passports.
Yes, fantasy passports, according to the EU. It was reclaimed by from a bunch of pirate radio broadcasters.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing. And so it basically they ran it for ages. But my favorite story about Sealand, besides the fact that they continue to say that they are a legitimate country, is that in 1978 they were attacked by mercenaries who tried to take it over. And it is the most bizarre story. So Alexander Achenbach in 1978
Great name.
called himself a prime minister of Sealand, hired Dutch and German mercenaries to lead an attack while Bates, the guy who kind of founded it was a guy called Paddy Roy Bates, which is amazing. They were in Austria. So Bates and his wife were in Austria, and they were invited by Achenbach to discuss the sale of Sealand. While they were there, they stormed Sealand with Dutch and German mercenaries, took his son hostage, and then Michael was able to retake, so this is his son, son Michael was able to retake Sealand and capture Achenbach and the mercenaries using weapons that he'd stashed on the platform. He then was charged, so then they charged Achenbach with treason against Sealand, and he was held until they paid, unless he paid 70,000 Deutschmarks. Germany then sent a diplomat from its London embassy to negotiate for his release. This is how Bates now claims that Sealand is a legitimate country because Germany once sent their diplomat there.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That needs to be made into a movie. Like it's
How is it not a movie?
Yeah, it already
good.
has. It's the boat that rocked, but they took away all the
All the interesting
land
stuff.
They just made it and put Reese Darby in. It was real good.
They've even
my
got
favorite-
like a German criminal. Like it's just Die Hard, but on
on
a
a platform.
I just want to know, did you check whether any of the Dutch mercenaries were from Zealand?
Unfortunately, none of them were named, probably because they all died. No, they didn't. What an amazing... so the best part is in 2015, Bates asserted that Sealand's population is normally like 2 people.
But man, for a while there, when they had that guy who broke on,
There's at least 4 people
at least
there.
4.
I imagine that one person was
All those
frantically
dead
fighting and the other
mercenaries.
person was out the front changing the population sign from 2 to 7.
Oh shit, this is so annoying.
They had to turn the 2 upside down, and they twink out the curl on the 2. It'll have to do for now.
Were they at war with Germany at any point? Is it like a Berwick upon Tweed situation?
No, there was no official declaration of war, which is how the only way the war can start. as if you officially declare it. Otherwise, it's just hostilities.
I
Interesting that,
declare.
interesting that you went with that declaration of war, Kenny, and not the one of how New Zealand was at war with Germany before anyone else was because of time differences.
Time zones.
That-
First to see the sun, baby. First
Yeah.
to take on the stars and the Nazis.
I love that. Oh, I know, like a bunch of Southland farmers were like, yeah, I could probably take down Hitler. Yeah, let's do it.
Before
Yeah.
you brought up Master Bates, I did wonder when you said that there was a prime minister of
That's
Zealand.
funny.
Thanks. Whether they'd actually just been the most British ever and been like, we are a sovereign nation, but also part of the Commonwealth. The Queen is our head of state. We only have a prime minister. We don't have a president, because that would have been very adorably
Here's
British.
the fun part. The UK extended their international waters not that long, in 1987, and that now includes Sealand. So technically, Sealand is part of the UK.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I expect to see them at the next Commonwealth Games. Kenny, can you bring us back to our actual topic? Just for fun.
Yeah. So, like many New Zealanders, I finally gave up my dream of being an All Black about 2 weeks ago when, like, I turned. How old am I now? 38.
Yeah.
It felt like my time had probably come to lace up my boots. It takes a while to come to terms with that sort of thing. But I could still play. If I can't play for the New Zealand rugby team, I could play for the first Zealand rugby team, which is in Zealand. They play in black and white. They have a nickname. It's not the All Blacks and Whites. It's Oi Moi Manoi, which is which way shall we go in the dialect that they speak in Zealand. And yeah, for about a low fee of around €40, you can pay your subs and join, and they'll take anyone with 2 legs and a pulse. Unlike the All
Amazing.
Blacks. Thank you, Ian Foster. This is why you lost. This is, yeah, you could have had
You
me.
should have signed Kenny.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you missed out.
Kenny, if you were on the field when we were playing the Irish, everyone would be stopping to be like, oh, he's a Kenny. Let's chat to him. Boom. Sever Reece scores in the corner. We're away.
Right, Sam's being marked down 1 point for unnecessary rugby chat.
What? Kenny's whole fact was about rugby.
Anyway,
Yeah, but his was about relevant rugby.
Mine was following
Necessary
on
rugby
from
chat.
him. Like, nah, I'm not. This is bullshit.
they have a team song, and it's about how all other rugby teams are made out of doll shit.
Incredible.
And it's in Dutch, so I don't have a clue what's going on there. But,
Okay, Sam.
Did you know that Zealand in Denmark, it's the main island, the biggest island there, Copenhagen's on it, and it's where the tribal Danes used to live, and a group of people called the Juts or the Jutes or whatever they're called. They came from there and then went to England and then got effed up by the Anglos and the Saxons. But so that happened way ago, like 13th century. There's like law written down from the 13th century of this area and before that. But also Zealand in Denmark is also only 15 years old because they redrew all the borders. And so it's only been alive since the
Amazing.
1st of January 2007, which is
I
the
like-
same day that a bunch of people I didn't know died. And I spent most of my time trying to find someone else who died on that day, and there was no one.
Kenny, could I have another fact, please?
so I'd like to talk about the origins of the other Zealand, the one that is in the Netherlands. Not Holland. Holland is another province within the Netherlands, which I also looked up.
People get
but-
that confused, eh? There's the Netherlands, which is made up of Holland and Zealand and some other ones as well.
So Zealand and Holland are the 2 main seafaring bits of the Netherlands, and Zealand itself has had a very strong identity for over 2,000 years. So part of this goes back. There was a goddess called, I'm going to mispronounce this because no one actually knows how it's pronounced. So
She
Nehelania,
Yep,
who
you
was
nailed
a
it.
really big deal from 2nd century BC right through to the 3rd century AD. So she was worshipped right across what is now Zealand, all the way over to where Trier is in northern Germany. And the seat of her worship was in Zealand, just beside the sea, where all of these nice goods came from. And so you can find votive symbols to her pop up periodically when they're doing reclaiming or they're digging foundations and all sorts of things. And I find this is quite lovely. So she's always surrounded by marine symbols and a fluffy dog.
Oh, Kenny,
A
it's
fluffy
lovely.
dog.
Oh, and she was in Sailor
So
Moon.
unnecessary. I love it. What?
She was
Wait.
in Sailor Moon.
They wrote her into the Sailor Moon anime because they were like, "Oh, we need some more gods. We've run out of gods."
How do you
So-
run out of gods?
And they looked up there.
There's so many.
There's so many.
In Hinduism, they have over 3 million gods. So, like,
Yeah.
In
Sailor
Rome,
Moon ran for a wee
in-
while, but not quite that
in,
long.
a- in ancient Rome, every time one of your relatives died, you would just chuck them in a family altar, and then they became like a little god. So literally everyone who died, if you had some family who liked you, the extra
I've
god.
got something else I call a little god.
What is it?
Mhm.
No, I don't really want to go into it.
Mhm.
No, it's
It's your dick, right?
You know, can we get that, Sam? Can you cut that? No. Okay, yeah. No, it's not Sam.
Sam, do you please have a fact to move us on?
I do. Zealand inspired Disneyland. Hey, here we go. So there is a Copenhagen on the island of Zealand is very famous for having a theme park there called Tivoli. Tivoli. If you spell it backwards, I love it. So when Walt Disney went to this park, Tivoli Gardens, it was based on, it used to be called Tivoli and Vauxhall, based on the Vauxhall Gardens in London, and Tivoli, which is some French shit that I didn't look up.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a theme park. They built it in 1843. It's the second oldest continually running theme park behind one called, I think, Bathy or Butty or something like that, which is also in Copenhagen. They bloody love theme parks there. Anyway, Walt Disney went there, was inspired by Tivoli to make Disneyland, which is a wonderful place, and it would take 11 hours and 15 minutes to get to Disneyland from Tivoli. And Tivoli's incredible. They've got heaps of gardens and rides and stuff. They had a full proper like mountain roller coaster thing from 1914. Most of the park got burnt down during the 40s because of the baddies known as the Nazis. Have you guys heard of them?
Oh, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Bad
It
dudes.
sounded lame.
And one of the attractions before that was a massive hydrogen-filled balloon that 15 people could go up in. It was massive and yellow, and you could see it from everywhere, and it was real awesome.
That's cool.
End
That's like a
of fact.
ride and advert at the same time.
That's right. And a death trap, so that's good.
Thomas Adams, may I please have another fact?
I've got something more important that Zealand has inspired, specifically the Dutch province of Zealand. And I'm not talking about Disneyland. Oh, no. I'm talking about the most iconic lyrics of the 90s. The final 2 lines from The Nanny. The flashing girl from Flushing.
Ah, I've got it.
Friend,
Yeah.
friend.
That was my next
Aha,
fact.
So, Flushing is Flushing is originally a colonial village that's in Queens, New York, but it was named after Vlissingen, a town in Zeeland in the Netherlands.
Tom, I hate you so much. That was my next fact.
Did you hear the nanny line?
I had the nanny line. Here's the wording I've got, right? Zealand was the setting for the nanny. It's because New York was New Amsterdam, and so they just took all the names from around there.
Harlem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
The
it sounds
Bronx.
like they butchered Flushing a whole bunch to get to Flushing.
The Brits butchered it first, which is very classic for the Brits.
It's very
so
on
they call
brand,
it
yeah.
Flushing. Yeah, and then so that's where the nanny gets their name from.
I am now going to have to ask you for another fact, Sam.
Well, I'm glad you have, because I've got the best fact of the whole thing.
Mhm.
Because I was thinking, Zealand, it's based on the thing that means sealand. And then I thought, wait, Air New Zealand, our national carrier, that's air, new, sea, and land. It's air, sea, and land, which reminded me of my favorite burger I've ever had from McDonald's, the Land, Sea, and Air burger, which is when you buy a Big Mac and a McChicken and a filet of fish, and you get the chicken from the McChicken and you put it in it, and the Big Mac, and you get the filet of fish from you get the fish from the filet of fish, and you put it in the Big Mac, and then you eat it, and it's disgusting because it's too much, but it's
Are
great.
chickens known for their propensity to fly?
Original chickens,
Yes.
yeah.
Jen, take a mark off Kenny for that, because he's hating
Yeah,
on chickens.
I'll take a mark off Kenny for not knowing basic biology.
Yeah.
And
Chickens,
Sam,
chickens are
they've
what
got
are known as
wings.
birds.
Sam, are you
Fantastic.
high? Are you high? Because this fact has been about combining burgers and then coming up with the most bizarre stoner name for it.
I'm very impressed with the Air New Zealand link, though. That's very clever.
Thank you very much. Very clever, Tom.
Yeah, very clever.
Take that
I
and
like it.
suck it.
Tom, you can suck it in Flushing because I would like another fact from you, please.
You may have another fact from me. The coat of arms of Zealand is a half-drowned lion.
Oh, I hate you again. I've literally that written down, word for word, a half-drowned lion.
Kenny
I
is
think it's
sitting
meant to
pretty
be
with his.
emerging.
Actually,
Emerging
okay,
from
I'm
the
gonna say
sea.
this. I feel guilty, so I'm gonna do a different fact.
You
So
can't,
Sam, cut
no,
this
you
one out. Here
can't
we
do
go.
a different fact.
I've already
Just
written it
done-
down, Tom. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I've got lots of good facts though. That's the thing.
It's fine.
So
Sam's
yeah,
going to randomly scramble for the next. He's got 3 more facts to go before it's him again.
Oh,
so
God.
yeah, so that is the coat of arms of Zealand, and it's largely because of the fact that a lot of Zealand is reclaimed land from the ocean. I like they say reclaimed land. It's not like the ocean. It's not like they had like the ocean.
got it
took
back.
It was already underwater. It's not reclaimed land. The ocean had it first. It's colonized land. You stole it. You stole it from the ocean.
Last Ice Age, that was bona fide land. Like you get
Land
mammoth,
or
you get
solid
mammoth
water?
teeth. Do you
Bona
get
fide.
mammoth teeth on land that wasn't at the bottom of the sea?
I feel like if most of your land is ice, the sea probably still has a pretty good ownership
Yeah.
claim.
On it. So right across between the Netherlands and the UK was during the last Ice Age, and has at many points in Earth's history been above the sea level. And so fishermen dredging and things often find like mammoth tusks.
Drowned
teeth.
lions.
Yeah.
That's so
But
Oh.
speaking of the lion
cool.
that is on the coat of arms, I like to think of it as it's actually having a lion. It's what it is it's its blanket across there. It's got its arms like this. It's like it's stretching it.
Ah, what a graceful morning under the
That's
ocean.
lovely.
Kenny, can you continue cheering us up with another fact, please?
So unlike New Zealand, Zealand, which has about 1/10 of the population of New Zealand, has had an astronaut. So his name was Ludwig van der Berg, which is funny because there's no mountains and van der Berg means from the mountains. So Ludwig van der Berg, and he was a chemical engineer, and he went on the Challenger, but not on the bad Challenger trip,
Oh.
one of the earlier, better
Ew.
Challenger trips where he came back. And he was in charge
I thought
of
that was
growing
going to be a
crystals.
patented Kenny Depressy fact, but no, this is good. Okay, continue.
Yeah, did he have sex with a catheter?
There aren't many famous people from Zealand in the Netherlands. Like I tried to look up them, and there's a whole heap of people that, frankly, I've never heard of. So Danny Blind, the footballer, was one of them. This guy was number 3. Number 1 was a lady called Sandra Rolofs, who was apparently First Lady of Georgia, the country. But then you go down number 4. Like if I say number 5 is Rasmus Paludan, do you guys know who he is? Or number 6 is Etty Hillesum.
Is this just Kenny? Have you just found the electoral roll for Zealand? Are you just
It,
reading out
it
names?
feels like it. There was one
Do you
name.
guys know Ostberg van Ziek?
So the amazing thing is most of these don't even have photos. But the best one is number 18, whose name is Dick Bohr, which I think is fantastic.
That's like Roger Moore level
Pretty
of
great.
good names.
What is
Yeah,
Dick
so-
Bohr famous for?
He fucked a pig.
No.
He's the Prime Minister of England.
He's the worst porn
He
star.
was the Ahold CEO, whatever Ahold is.
He sounds like an a-hole.
He's the CEO of A-Hole. Okay, great. Yeah.
Ahold.
Oh no, little Timmy, what's wrong? You left your essay till the last possible minute and you can't get an extension because you already killed both your grandmothers and now the police are getting suspicious? Well, lucky for you, there's Wikipedia. Wikipedia is the perfect website for you to copy-paste probably accurate information to demonstrate an exceptionally basic comprehension of a given topic. Just right-click to find a few synonyms and you'll be correct as precipitation. But that's not all. Wikipedia is also great if you have insomnia, are bored at work and behind a firewall, or are very lonely. Wikipedia, instead of crying during your lunch break, why not learn about the Whig Party or Transylvanian composers? And if you're one of the wiki users who has friends, you can impress them by learning cool facts about their birthdays. Sam, did you know that you were born exactly 101 years after the foundation stone for the Statue of Liberty was laid? Or that your 10th birthday was celebrated in Croatia as Victory Day? Or that you were probably conceived 2 days before the assassination of Indira Gandhi? Wikipedia. Don't kill Nana, but do chuck them a $5. Thomas Adams, I would like a fact from you, please.
Zealand and corn had a falling out.
The band?
The
Or
band
the
corn.
vegetable.
But I'm also not talking about Zeeland, the Dutch province. I'm talking about Zeeland, Michigan, named after the province of Zeeland. And in 1988, prior to the release of Follow the Leader by the band Korn, Gretchen Puess, a Zeeland high school assistant principal, said in an interview for a Michigan newspaper that the group's music is indecent, vulgar, obscene, and intends to be insulting. A child called Eric Van Hoven got a one-day suspension for wearing a shirt with the Korn logo on it. Then Korn filed a cease and desist against the school district for their comments, and a radio station gave away hundreds of free Korn t-shirts outside of the school, donated by the band, assisted by the Ottawa County Police.
That's the police from a different country helping
It's the
out.
Ottawa province of Michigan. Doesn't make any damn sense.
Okay.
Can America
Ottawa's
just
not a
stop
country,
stealing
Sam?
other countries' names for its geography? Because it's very confusing, or at least be consistent.
Like Michigan is right
don't
next
have
to Canada. Like,
Yeah.
and Ottawa's the capital of Canada. So
It's very confusing. Kenny, can we come back to you for a fact, please?
The largest independent political movement in Zeeland, the one in the Netherlands, is called Party for Zeeland, which I think is a fantastic platform for any sort of movement. Like, yeah, I'll vote for a party. Sorry, that's all I've got.
Which party are you voting for?
in New Zealand we had a party called the Party Party, didn't we? It was one of
Did
those
they get it?
joke ones that.
Oh, like the McGillicuddy Serious Party.
Yeah.
That wasn't a joke. No, there was like a whole lot of. There's always been at least one weird party. Last year it was Advanced New Zealand. This year it's something else.
This year it's Destiny.
Well, last year it was National. Ooh.
Ooh.
Hey-oh.
Sam, would you like to finish us off with one more fact for round 4, please?
The first bubble burst. You know how we have like the .com bubble and the like the housing bubble and stuff like that. A burst, and it's great. The first one was the tulip bubble. Holy heck! This was in the Netherlands, specifically where they grow a lot of tulips, Zeeland. So at one point, it got to the stage where everyone was super into tulips. They blimmin' loved them. Everyone was trying to buy them, and the price went up and up and up and up and up and up and up. So at one point, one tulip bulb was worth 10 times like the annual wage of a skilled worker. 10 times for one bulb. And then everyone went, wait a minute, these are just bloody flowers. I'm not going to do it. So boom, the bubble burst and everyone died.
There's a really good book about that called The Black Tulip by Alexandre Dumas. And I actually highly recommend it. It's really interesting. And I'm pretty sure that there's a scene in it depicting when the Dutch people ate their prime minister. Pretty sure that's
incredible.
They got real angry with him, dragged him out of a carriage, beat him, and then just ate him. I am hungry for some fast facts. So, Kenny, can you give me a fast fact?
So it sounds a bit weird that we named New Zealand after somewhere on the other side of the world. But it sounds less odd when you realise that the original name for Australia was New Holland. So when Abel Tasman went past, he named the two big countries on the other side of the world after the two seagoing regions of the Netherlands, where he was from. So you had New Holland and New Zealand. And Australia went and ignored all that. Well, we kept on tracking.
The Dutch East India Company was based out of Zeeland, and back in the 1600s, they sent over 1 million voyages to East Asia because they had the sole contract with all the spice stuff that was going on there. If they're around today, they'll be worth 10 times the amount that Apple is worth right now. And Apple is the biggest company in the world at the moment. They would be worth $7.9 trillion.
Wow, that's a lot of tulips.
The Zealand population density is 215 people per square kilometre. The density of New Zealand, 19.1 people per square kilometre.
Oh, so much room.
They have 10 times the population density.
Imagine if we were doing this podcast and we each had 10
lines.
people in our room.
Right, very quickly, I'm going to recap some facts and choose my favourites. I love the fantasy passports of Zealand. I think that's great. I love Nehelania with her puppy and being on Sailor Moon. I am horrified, but I will never forget the Frankenburger. I love the story of Korn and the police uniting. I think that's wonderful. Yeah, and I love that the war criminals of the Dutch East India Company would be worth 10 times Apple. I think that's amazing. But I think my favourite fact of the whole show is that Copenhagen invented theme parks. Sam, congratulations.
Hey!
Oh, I did not expect this to happen. It's a thrill and an honor, and I will treat my responsibilities with the utmost respect.
If you could just wear pants next week, that would be awesome.
I do not promise that.
Right. If you guys listening or watching us at home have enjoyed this episode, please drop your favourite facts about any of the various Zealands or Sealands that we've talked about, either in the comments or hit us up on our Twitter accounts, which you can find on the YouTube channel. But please like, subscribe, follow us, and tell us your favourite facts as well.
Goodbye,
Bye.
friends.